Biden, Trump, and political violence.
We're not allowed to punch back anymore.
He has endorsed violence in public speeches that can lay the groundwork for a culture of violence.
You know, in the old days, bing, bong.
And give rise to epidemics of violence.
A federal prosecutor said today a double murder at a Kentucky grocery store is being investigated as a possible hate crime.
He has incited his followers to violence.
You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. That's true.
And he has threatened violence in the future.
A Florida man suspected of mailing bombs to high-profile Democrats, including the homes of two former presidents, has been arrested.
Trump could turn the world wars and the genocides of the 20th century into minor footnotes in the history of human violence.
But the radical left is causing this. The radical left Democrats are causing this problem, and it gets worse. It gets worse, and it'll be a point where other people won't take it anymore, and that will not be good for the radical left, and we don't want that. Okay.
Hey, I'm Drea with Exposed News Outlet. Today, we need to talk about power, representation, and the escalating political violence that's tearing at the seams of our country.
We're going to give riot warning. We're going to try and get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
5 to 50 be advised, Capitol Police 1 advised they're trying to breach and get into the Capitol.
We have a breach of the Capitol. Breach of the Capitol. We need to hold the doors of the Capitol. I need court support. We lost the line. We lost the line. All MPDs get back! All MPDs get back up to the upper deck! All MPDs get back to the upper deck!
They were peaceful people. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable, and I mentioned the word love, the love in the air. I've never seen anything like it.
First, facts. President Joe Biden used his time in the office to push a number of programs and policies targeted at helping Black and Latino communities, from major pandemic relief and child tax credit expansions to record investments in jobs. inequities. The White House's fact sheets document major moves. The American Rescue Plan child tax credit helped drive down child poverty and aided renters. Targeted job and apprenticeship programs and Hispanic serving institution supports were highlighted as helping Latino workers and students. Biden also followed through on promises to diversify government and the federal judiciary. His administration confirmed a historically large number of judges, who are mostly all women and mostly people of color. Roughly 2/3 women and a majority of people of color among his confirmed lifetime judges, a modern record level of judicial diversity. That matters. A bench that reflects the country makes the justice system seen as more legitimate. Contrast that with the actions of the current Trump administration and the plans its supporters have pushed. Since January 2025, there have been waves of personnel moves, executive orders dismantling federal DEI offices, and the rescission of Executive Order 11246. Measures that remove long-standing affirmative action obligations for federal contractors and large-scale terminations or reclassifications of career civil servants. Estimates put tens of thousands at risk. Those moves concentrate power and politicize what had been career nonpartisan public service. Multiple outlets and federal workforce analysts flagged these actions as part of an effort to replace career officials with political loyalists. Now, about the violence. The killing of Charlie Kirk, the incident of Charlie Kirk at the university event, shocked the country. Authorities say the suspect has been identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, and that family members, through a minister, helped bring him in. That details came from current reporting and law enforcement updates. Regardless of motive, which investigators say they're still determining, the immediate response from many of the right has been to call this political violence and to demand retribution. Violent rhetoric that risks sparking more of the same old bullshit. Meanwhile, other shootings, including school shootings, which ironically the same day there was a school shooting in Colorado, sadly, and it wasn't really reported on because of this incident, but both are tragic. The school shootings, like I said, sometimes receive much less national attention, depending on who the victims are and how the incident fits a political narrative. This selective attention risks normalizing violence when it serves political ends.
You are an American piece of shit! You're a fucking traitor! You're a parasite and a fucking traitor! Fuck you! We are the real fucking Americans! You're fucking not! You're a Nazi piece of shit! Fuck you! You're a piece of shit! Fuck you! You're a fucking parasite!
are telling this unwarranted and unconstitutional occupation by ICE and potentially by military troops to get out of Chicago. You are not helping us.
The next few years, we're going to make our military stronger, tougher, faster, fiercer, and more powerful than it has ever been before. The apparatus of our country was not set up for merit. It was set up for political correctness. And you can never be great if you're going to do that. And we're going to be greater than we ever were before. Last month, I signed an executive order to provide training for a quick reaction force that can help quell civil disturbances. This is going to be a big thing for the people in this room because it's the enemy from within, and we have to handle it before it gets out of control. It won't get out of control. It's really a very important issue. And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
This situation, Governor Pritzker denounced the intensified federal law enforcement presence in a press conference yesterday. The governor says the Department of Homeland Security is requesting 100 military personnel to be sent to Illinois. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is directing agents to protect ICE facilities after a weekend of unrest in the Broadview ICE facility. Now, Attorney General Kwame Raoul says this deployment effort seems to be following the same pattern seen in Oregon, which is illegal. He says the president should expect a legal challenge if deployment plans move forward.
Who is talking to you? No. Hey, this is the line that they created. Oh, shit. Laughing.
Reports about a chilling and downright shocking escalation of ICE tactics against the residents of Chicago. In the middle of the night, hundreds of armed federal agents and police, backed up by riot trucks, smoke grenades, and helicopters, breached fences and busted doors in an immigration raid on an entire apartment building on the city's south side. They pulled dozens of residents from their homes and zip ties, including children, some of them without any clothes. They then held some outside for hours and dragged the others into rented vans.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face.
Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
They zip tied the kids together. ICE put out a statement saying they were pursuing Trinidad gang members. But U.S. citizens living in the building say they were detained too. The cops told them that if they had any unrelated warrants, they wouldn't be going back home. 37 people were ultimately arrested after agents separated children from their parents on the street. And if you're looking at this and asking yourself, how is this legal? That is the right question to ask. And it has kind of an answer. And to understand it, you have to go back to Los Angeles this summer, where federal immigration agents started pushing the envelope on orders from the White House. They raided Home Depot parking lots and Walmart lots, and they grabbed people they saw. Near one Home Depot, masked agents with batons grabbed Narcisco Barranco, who has lived in the U.S. for more than 30 years and has 3 sons serving in the Marine Corps. Agents beat Barranco on the ground, dislocating his shoulder before detaining him. In Van Nuys, agents raided a car wash, remembering this, sending patrons and workers scrambling before the 79-year-old owner, who is a U.S. citizen named Rafi, tried to ask them what they were doing.
That is when Rafi was taken down by agents and eventually handcuffed. Rafi says he was injured in the process.
And they sit on me. This is my elbow about a week ago. And this is my arm.
Rafi says he and 5 others at his car wash were taken to a federal detention center downtown. We're still working to learn more about why they were detained.
And that man is not alone.
Look how you got my hand. You're twisting that. I'm American, bro.
Yo, these guys are literally based off of skin color.
He's LA, bro. I just fucking show you. I got a new ID with.
My homie was born here just because of the way he looks.
Agents kept stopping people they suspected of being undocumented immigrants for no reason other than they weren't obviously white. Like Brian Gavidia, the man you saw there, the 29-year-old American. He wasn't arrested, but he says agents went through his phone for 20 minutes and kept his real ID card. Now, these are obvious violations of people's core constitutional civil rights, their right to equal protection and the freedom from unlawful searches and seizures. And victims filed a class action lawsuit. And after an entire bench trial, a federal judge sided with those victims and ended the ICE sweeps. And in her ruling, she wrote, "It is illegal to conduct roving patrols which identify people based upon race alone, aggressively question them, and then detain them without a warrant, without their consent, and without reasonable suspicion that they are with status." Yes, it is. Yes, it is. An appeals court upheld her injunction against ICE. You have to stop doing this. And so the Trump administration took the issue to the Supreme Court. And lo and behold, last month, the court's 6-3 conservative majority voted to just let Trump and ICE continue for now, as the case works its way up, to use racial profiling in their immigration raids, halting the lower court's decision, saying, go ahead. Now, they gave no reasoning or explanation for their decision, silent, except Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who wrote a short concurring opinion saying there's absolutely no problem whatsoever with racially motivated stops by law enforcement. Quote, "If the officers learn the individual they stopped is a U.S. citizen or otherwise lawfully in the U.S., they promptly let the individual go." Welcome to the era of what critics call the Kavanaugh stop. Carte blanche for ICE to continue violent, warrantless raids and stops all over the country to undocumented immigrants, lawful residents, and American citizens alike. Like Leonardo Garcia Venegas. You see him there, being cuffed roughly by ICE agents on a construction site where he was working. Vargas showed the agents his real ID as proof of citizenship, and they told him he was lying. And it took hours to get him out of custody, so not exactly expeditious. And then, get this, 2 weeks later, ICE arrested him again at another work site. He's now suing the government. The consequence of all this is what we're seeing now in the dead of night in Chicago. Dozens of federal agents raiding an entire apartment building with kids in it just to see what they can find. It's the most egregious abuse of our basic rights as Americans I've seen in a long time, maybe my lifetime. And it comes 2 weeks after Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem posted a hype video of another violent ICE raid with helicopters and grenades, this time on a house in the Chicago suburbs. And guess what? 2 U.S. citizens were mistakenly arrested. You know, there's a reason the American founders put the right to be free from unlawful searches and seizures in the Bill of Rights from the start. Masked secret police profiling people and now targeting entire apartment buildings, making everyone prove they're not guilty of something, is the province of tyrants. It is the opposite of American. And I don't think Americans will stand for it, nor should they.
Go, push! Get out of the way for the Bearcat! Clear the way for the Bearcat! More hands! More hands!
Here's the point I want to leave you with. Political agendas that demonize people, race bait, or push exclusionary ideologies do more than win arguments. They erode institutions and fuel violence. Whether it's dismantling programs meant to lift up historically oppressed communities, purging career civil servants, or elevating rhetoric that treats opponents as enemies rather than fellow citizens, the result is the same. Less trust, more instability, and more danger for ordinary people, especially when people feel like their voices are going unheard. And that can be said on both sides of the spectrum. But we can and must do better. Political disagreement is part of democracy, but violence, intimidation, and purges of institutions are not. If you believe in democracy, equality, and safety, speak up for solutions that unite us, not agendas that divide us. And by the way, voting every year, not just in the presidential elections, but also on a local level, because that's where, you know, a lot of the laws are made, in the local state houses and in the city councils, stuff like that. It's all important. We need to get out and vote so that our interests are represented and there isn't like this abuse of power. Community organizing matters. Holding leaders accountable matters. And reporting the facts without fear matters. Which is why I'm here. And if you want more deep dives like this, subscribe to Exposed News Outlet with Drea on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook as well as Blue Sky and TikTok. Links are available below. I'll link the sources in the description box so you can check them out yourself. And as always, be kind to yourselves and be kind to others, and stay safe. And don't let fear or propaganda decide your politics.
In downtown Des Moines, where hundreds of people have gathered, chanting "Free Dr. Roberts" and chanting against ICE. As we've been telling you all day, Dr. Ian Roberts, superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools, was arrested by ICE, detained by ICE this morning. Now, hundreds of people have gathered here in downtown Des Moines, demanding his release.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know?